Hi everyone and welcome to Club 4 episode 17 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So in this episode we're going to be starting a brand new season with Man City. Having been with England in the summer at the European Championships and won it, we now focus back on Manchester City, trying to wrestle that Premier League title away from Liverpool and trying to get ourselves to a Champions League final at some point to end this particular series, whether we win or lose. So that's the intention for now where we're going. So in this particular episode, we're going to be looking over the summer transfer window. We'll be looking at the friendly results. We'll be playing a match against Wigan in the Premier League. And then we'll be figuring out what the following episode looks like. So that's where we're heading. Hope you'll enjoy the ride with me. Let's get going and see what happens. So we are in August of 2032. We've been through the summer transfer window. We've played some friendly matches. The friendly matches have been pretty good. You can see that we only conceded one goal against AEK, but other than that, we filled our boots all the way through the summer, which has been really fantastic. A great start to our new campaign. We start off with Wigan, and then we play Liverpool in the UEFA Super Cup. That's because we won European stuff last season. Then we have the Manchester Derby, and so it's quite a challenging couple of fixtures there for an early season, but it's kind of good to get into it. And what I would say this season is, because of how strong Liverpool are, we have to hit the ground running and basically never let up. We've got to keep going all the way through the season at full throttle if we are going to in any way wrestle that title away from them. They've done some business in the summer, so have we. They are exceptionally strong, but I think so are we. We haven't done as much as we did last summer. If you remember, we spent like 600 million reshaping this squad completely at Man City. We haven't done that this summer. We've been a bit more specific, but we have spent a little bit of money. Well, quite a bit really. So if we go and have a look at what we've done, all of these are youngsters coming into the club over the next couple of years from various places around the world. So if and when they do sign and they're worth it, I'll let you see what they've got amongst them. But we've already signed a couple of youngsters for our reserve and our under squads. So we'll talk through them a little bit as well. But basically what we've done is we've added to our central midfield in terms of quality. We sold to Derby County in the end for 60 million, our former club. We sold Ortega. He was a very good backup to Malt in that central midfield position. He's a very good player, but we're paying quite a bit of money. And actually what I found was that it was a player that I wanted to come into the club, slightly younger and English. And I thought that he would be a good addition to the squad as we move forward. So I sold Ortega for 60 million, bought in this guy, Yanni Matilla. Doesn't sound English particularly, but he is. And he cost me 75. But at 22, I think he's got a few lesser attributes in the physicals than Ortega did, but everywhere else is very comparable and will play this central midfield role very, very nicely in the Mezzala role. That's what we asked the central midfielder to do. So Yanni Matilla was basically the main bit of business that I did. I let a couple of people go on free transfers and end of contract kind of deals. So it just and I reshuffled the squad slightly. And then what happened, unfortunately, is that Phil Foden, our attacking midfielder, got a big injury directly after the European Championships for England in training for Man City. And he's going to be out anywhere up to about 5 months, unfortunately. If we go and have a look in the tactics and find him, you'll see him down here. Malt is only injured for about a week and a bit, so he'll be back. But Foden out for 3 to 4 months now. I think it was 5 when he first did it, with a broken lower leg. So he's going to be out for quite a while. And what I thought was, because he's already 32 years old, by the time he comes back from that, I'm not sure we're going to see the same player that we once did, to be honest. And so I felt I needed to go into the transfer market and just bring a guy in that can alternate that attacking midfield role with McCann, who's only 19 and is progressing really well in that role. But I didn't want to put the pressure on him to play for 3 or 4 months without any proper rotation. So in the end, it meant going into the transfer market again, and we bought in Gabriel Toba for 40 million from Napoli, and I think this is a good attacking midfielder, and it's what we were looking for. Good long shots, good passing, decent vision, off the ball is good, finishing is good, composure's pretty good, decision making excellent. So I think we've got a really good player on our hands here, and whatever happens with Foden, I think McCann and Toba can probably rotate this role moving forward if the point comes where Foden leaves the club through either retirement or whatever. So I think that's a reasonably good bit of business that was slightly forced. I wasn't looking to do it at the beginning of the transfer window, but the injury to Foden meant that I had to. We released a couple of other players and sold a couple of youngsters that weren't quite up to standard. For example, Ben Reed here at the age of 19 doesn't have enough about him to make it into our first team squad at all. And in the end, we sold him for a fee of 4.6, but moving up to 12.25, depending on various clauses. And Branthwaite as well, similar position really. At the age of 17, a bit younger, potentially had room for improvement, but I just didn't see a player in there that I was that bothered about. And again, we sold him for 4.5, leading up to 12.25 million. So I thought they were good to get the money in for those two, really, because I didn't think that they would get anywhere near the first team. The ones that I've bought in for the lower size, the under 23s and the under 18s or whatever we've got, are the likes of this guy, Matthew Lee's Skyers, should I say. And at 16, all of these are 16-year-olds. He's going to be a fantastic prospect. He's got some decent determination and some good attributes around him already. And so we're going to send him through our system. And hopefully in a couple of years' time, he'll be ready for the first team squad, should we still be here and need him. We've got plenty of money to burn at Man City, so I thought I would build a squad for the future, even if ultimately we're not here to do it, just because it felt the right thing to do as the manager of Man City. Toby McEachran, also 16 years old, and he plays at left fullback and has already got some really great attributes. He's moved into our under 23s, see what he can do down there. The next one on the list is Reece Carter, another English youngster as well, 16 years old, central defender, already got some fantastic attributes at 16. So there's some really good young prospects in here. And Cliff Kean also comes in as a central defender, and again has got some key attributes already, but some growth to do. So he's been put into the under 23s as well. So those are the ones that have come through the setup into the squad already. And as I say, all of these are foreign youngsters that don't move until they're 17, 18, whatever the rules are for them. So they're going to be in over the next couple of seasons. But I feel like we've got a good bunch of youngsters coming into the squad at a lower level now, just to build them up and bring them through at some point. So that's what I've primarily done over the summer in terms of transfers. As we've seen, the schedule is looking pretty interesting to start the season off, should I say. So let's go in and now check out what we're going to do with the team for this current season ahead. So simply, really, we're going to keep the asymmetric system. The players that we bought in all fit this system. That's why I've been buying them in, because this is how I want us to play. And we're going to be playing the vertical tiki-taka. That's the sort of tactical style of play on a positive mentality. We're going to really push and try and own the games that we play this season. There is only Liverpool ahead of us in the pecking order of English football. So I think that we should be a bit fearless and go and try and get as much as we can from the games that we play in. In terms of personnel, as you've seen, the only players to come in are Matilla and Tauber, and they've come into the central midfield kind of areas. We've seen that Foden is injured for X amount of months. We've seen that Malt is injured for a week or two, so that's not too bad. He'll come back in. We've also got some players out on international duty with the under-23s of the likes of Brazil and Mexico, etc. Probably at the Olympics, I would think. So they're going to be out for a little bit at the start of the season, which always unsettles the balance through the friendly matches, etc. But we saw it didn't affect them too much. So if we just click through these I'm not going to talk through them, but I'll let you have a look and see what we're doing in possession, just so you can see that there's been a reduction in terms of team instructions. This group of players are good enough to figure out some stuff for themselves, so I don't want to overload them with instructions and confuse the matter. I'm going to let them do what they do best, which is play the game in a sort of set pattern that we've outlined for them. So there's the in transition setups and instructions as well, and then finally we have the out of possession, and so that's the system that we're going to play. There's not a huge amount of personal instructions on these players, one or two, but nothing really to write home about. And you can see that we've got a very good set of players to choose from. The back line I thought played really well last season, so there's nothing to change about that. We've got some good backup as well for them. The central midfield, as I say, is the thing that's changed the most. The wide left and right, we invested a lot in them over last season, and the similar situation up top with Vasic. We bought him last season and he did very well for us. In the end, finished like second in the goal scoring charts in the Premier League, behind Ashley Luca at Liverpool. Those that have been following my England exploits will know all about him. So we're expecting big things. 4 in 5 games in the pre-season, which has been great. So we'll see what we can get out of Vasic for this season. But that's basically the setup that we're going to use for the coming season and how I want them to play. And of course, at any given time, if we're down in a game or we're up in a game, we can change the systems up a little bit and sort of either go more full bore at teams or reduce back and sit. That's the prerogative of manager, but this is the setup that I've gone for. So this is the setup that we're going to be playing. It's as we've said last season, so there's nothing hugely different, but I have confidence in this group of players. I think we've got a fantastic set of players. We've got to hit the ground running though, and first off for us today is Wigan Athletic in the Premier League. You would think that's going to be a good game for us to try and win. So what we've decided to do for the game is we've gone with Romero in goal, Rivero and Romario in central defence, Magnoni at right back, Cruz at left back, Camavinga, Matilla and McCann in central midfield, with Velotte on the right, Cesar on the left and Vasic up top, and a bench of Cork, Gray, Jackson, Cooper, Tauber, Collins and Gibbons. And pretty much a lot of other players are unavailable for us, and this is why we've gone with this way. So Wigan first up. Let's get into the game and see what happens. So straight out of the blocks today, I've gone with, we should be winning this one comfortably. Go out and play your game and the result will come. Put the onus on them passionately to say, we are Manchester City. We were so close last season to Liverpool's Premier League win. We almost took it away from them and didn't quite manage it in the last few games of the season. This season, we've got to come out and keep pace with them right from the get-go. And so I expect us to fill our boots occasionally. And this is a good opportunity to do it. So far, away from home, it's been a little bit quiet in terms of the highlights of the match, but you could see that we had like 9 attempts already and Wigan have had none so far. And now we get the highlight. The free kick came in and was partially cleared, but Olart picks it up on the right hand side of the pitch, gets stalled a little bit there, but finds a way to get the cross in. A looping header eventually goes over the top of the bar. Didn't really challenge the goalkeeper, but look at these statistics early in the game. 11 shots, 6 on target for us. No shots at all from Wigan so far. And again, we get another chance to put the pressure on them. Cross comes in from the corner and we hit the woodwork and then they scramble it clear. We are getting closer and closer. I think once we open the goal scoring, it could lead to more at this rate in this particular game. I'm not sure Wigan are going to be able to impact us too much, but we've got to find a way to break through and get that first goal. And again, the cross comes in from Magnoni and it's Cesar on the left-hand side that's cut in off the wing at the far post, took a gamble on the ball coming through, long sweeping pass, and eventually he found it at his feet and put it in the back of the net. And we do take the 1-0 lead after 37 minutes. Good sweeping long ball into the box from Magnoni on the right-hand side, and Cesar makes the run, gets in between the defenders, fantastic. You can see him playing a high line in that central striking spot, really, because Vasic had drifted out to get involved in the play. All around, very good goal, and we're going to take a 1-0 lead leading into half-time. Now, ultimately, that's great. We're going to be have something to build on in the second half, but these statistics from the first half suggest that we potentially should have done a lot more. 17 shots on goal, and 9 of them on target, 65% of the possession. We should be probably slightly ahead of where we are in terms of goal scoring. If you can hear trains going by, I've got the windows open just because it's quite warm in here today, so apologies if they impact you at all, but that's what that noise is occasionally that you might hear. So assertively, we're going to say, you've played well, but there is still room for improvement, and then put the onus on them to go and deliver that in the second half. As it's the first game of the season, there's not a lot to say in terms of conditioning. They've all gone through a pre-season and done pretty well. So I'm expecting no major issues unless there's an injury someone picks up. The conditioning the players should be good for a number of weeks to get going in this Premier League campaign. And another yellow card, is that for McClelland? It is, and Wigan have a player sent off at 52 minutes. And so we get a chance to play against 10 men. We're already in a positive mindset. So I'm now going to go into the shouts and demand more from them. 62 minutes. We're going to make a couple of substitutions in a minute, get some fresh legs on, get some more people some game time. In fact, let's do that now. 69 minutes gone. We're doing fine, but, 1-0 up in the circumstance, having had so many attempts at goal, isn't quite good enough. So we're going to take Vasic out and we're going to put Gibbons in. Gibbons played fantastically for me over the summer for England. Out of position, really, but he did a magnificent job. So he can come in. We're going to bring the new guy Tauber in for McCann in that attacking midfield role and just see what he can bring to the party. And then we're going to take Cruz out and bring Cooper in. A lot of what we've got left on the bench is quite defensive. So we'll make a defensive change and protect Cruz as we move forward, who's really good for us normally down that left-hand fullback position. So Cooper comes in for him. And that's what we're going to do for the rest of the game. We're not going to change anything. No need to change anything up. Look at these statistics, though. We should be more goals up than we are. We've had 30 attempts at goal to Wigan's none. And we're only 1-0 up. Make that 2-0 up, just as I'm saying. So Olart, on the free kick down the right-hand side, whips that free kick outside and then back in again. And brilliant free kick. Found that near post. Goalkeeper scrambles across. Doesn't quite get to it. And there's the comfortable nature of a good scoreline that we were waiting for. A couple of goals cushion. Another attempt on a corner kick on the header that doesn't quite challenge the keeper. But now we can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, really, I think. And 32 shots, 17 on target for us compared to Wigan's none is magnificent. But I just hoped for a few more goals, really. We could have really filled our boots here and put out a real warning for Liverpool. And what we've done is won okay and reasonably comfortably, but not really demonstrated how magnificent a performance it was. But we're getting there now. 94th minute, just in the dying seconds, we get a third goal, and that feels a little bit better for how we've played today. Again, it's Magnoni down the right-hand side, the fullback, and the header from Cesar comes into Matilla, and it's Matilla. I didn't realise that watching it the first time round. He gets a debut goal. Fantastic for his confidence moving forward in that central midfield role. Molt will come back into the reckoning and challenge him for that position sooner or later. But a very, very good performance on his debut game for us in Matilla. So team talk-wise, we can calmly say I'm very pleased with the performance. It was magnificent in terms of these statistics. Wigan had nothing all game, literally. No shots on goal, no shots on target to our 34 and 19. Magnificent performance. So, yeah, there we go. We're now going to go into a slightly new section of this particular episode, and we're going to go and have a look and analyse the performance a little bit. So let's go and see what we can learn from what we've just watched. So here we are on the analysis page, and we get the action zone here. We get the focus of attacks, which is interesting, and the heat maps. Look at that heat map compared to Wigan and where they managed to use the ball. We were quite consistent everywhere, really. Good work down the left-hand side and in the central midfield area. But yeah, very happy with how that looks and where we work the ball. You can see Olart was our best performer with a 9 rating, and Vasic didn't have a great game at a 6.6, and we'll see that with some of his shots in a minute as to what was going with him. But the production area, the action zones are good. It's lots of midfield possession of the football, which is fantastic. In that vertical tiki-taka, that's where you want to see it. Back and forth a little bit, up and down the pitch through midfield, just to get us higher up the pitch eventually. And carve out those opportunities, and we've done pretty well in terms of the focus of attacks as well. I like the fact that we've got good attacking fullbacks on both sides, and we've got Cesar on the left and Olart mainly on the right in that particular match. So we're using our wide areas quite successfully, I would suggest, but very evenly as well. 40% down the right, 39% down the left. So they don't know where we're going to come from, really. We've got potential all over the pitch. There's no particular advice in here, but if we go through a little bit, you can see some of the summary. You can. I'm not going to talk through everything. You can check out some of this yourself, but you can see that the passing completion is pretty good through a lot of the side. A couple of little things in terms of Vasic. Overall chances, it's not good. 17% shots on target isn't particularly good, is it? So we had 34 shots, 19 on target, possession 68%, average rating is 7.5 for the game, and that's helped by the likes of Olart, who got a really good rating, didn't he? In terms of the teams, what's that going to show? We could go through all of this. I'm not going to do that particularly today, but in other games we will, similarly with different players. Let's go and check in with Olart, though, and see what this particular page can show us of what he did. So you can see that he had a decent long-range shot, and that was his goal from the free kick. He also had a couple that was saved by the goalkeeper as well, down that right-hand side of the penalty box, so that's interesting to see. The shots are interesting, aren't they? There's a lot of wayward shooting, and some of it is from Rivero. You can see number 6 there. He went over the top and probably off corner kicks, I would imagine. There's one there, one hit the crossbar there. It went wayward on one just over the right-hand side. So he was culpable for a couple of misses. Once we get him on target for the set pieces, there's some goals to be had there, I would think. But also, we've got the likes of Vasic. One here that went over the top, another one over the top. Then we had a wayward one down here. And you can see that he didn't really put too many on target. You can see he had 1, 2, 3 shots that actually hit the goal itself. After so many good attempts, we probably should have got more goals. So in the long run, it's not a bad situation for us to be in after the first game. The suggestion from my assistant is that Rivero's not been hitting his shots. And that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Rivero has been dominant in the air, though. And that's really positive for our set pieces moving forward. And because McClellan was sent off, we should have looked to pass the ball around and run them into the ground. I thought we were kind of doing that with a vertical tiki-taka, to be honest. Maybe it wasn't short and sharp as much as it needed to be. Maybe we went to sort of more direct a little bit occasionally. I don't know. We'll have to see what this advice brings in the future. But interesting. I thought we kind of did it, though, to be honest. And in terms of tactics, Matilla looks like he's used to playing in the direct game. More direct game than ours today, but he can play the short game as well. If we go and have a look at him, you can see that his passing is very good, his decision making is very good, his vision's good, so I will expect him to adapt to our style as we move him forward a little bit, but that's about just bringing a new player into the side, I would suggest. And it looks like Rivero is used to a more urgent pressing intensity, but we don't want to wear the players out doing that too much when we, looked completely dominant on the ball. That's the plan, is to keep the ball more and try and dominate the game by keeping that rather than charging all over the place trying to get it back from them. So there we go. There's a bit of the analysis page and what that shows. I'm going to get a lot more clued up about this section of Football Manager as we move over the next few games. It's something I want to do, is talk a little bit about the individual games. But today I'm just getting used to the new setup, really. So we'll see how that moves forward. But if there's anything in the post-match analysis that you'd like to see a bit and sort of clarify after each of the games, let me know in the comments below, and we'll put it into this section of every episode. This is just going to evolve over time. So here we are looking at the schedule for the next few weeks. We've got Liverpool and Manchester United coming up. We've got a few games in the Premier League against some decent opposition that will help us to hopefully get off to a decent start. We've got the likes of a Champions League group stage to be drawn. We've got an unknown opponent so far in the third round of the English League Cup, so that's got to be drawn. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back at the very beginning of October and play Liverpool at home and see if we can take points off them really early in the season. So I'll play through the Premier League games till then. We'll have drawn the Champions League group stages by that point as well, and also gone through that first third round stage of the English League Cup. So yeah, we'll come back and play Liverpool. Big encounter, isn't it? After last season, they just pipped us at the post. Can we deny them some points early on? I hope you join me for that in the next episode of Rolling in the Isles. That'll do it for today, though. It's gone pretty well. Good start. Probably could have filled our boots a little bit more, but ultimately we got the 3 points, and that's all that matters. We have to keep winning those 3 points and keep putting the pressure on Liverpool. So there we go. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you'll join me for the next episode. Till then, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. If you haven't clicked a like button on this particular episode, please do that for me. It helps get seen by lots of other people. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.